Polar bears are believed to have appeared 300,000 years ago on the Siberian coast. The polar bear belongs to the animal kingdom.
Its phylum is a vertebrate. Its class is a mammal. Because it eats meat, its order is a carnivore. It belongs to the family called Uridae. Its genus is Ursus, and its species is Maritimus, making its scientific name the Ursus maritimus. The polar bear's natural habitat is in Arctic coasts or islands, making its biome the tundra. This includes Norway, Russia, Alaska, Canada, or Denmark.
The polar bear is an endangered animal. This is because of global warming, hunting, and habitat destruction. The ice in the Hudson Bay in Canada breaks up 2.5 weeks earlier. This gives the polar bears less time to hunt and build fat preserves. There has been a 21% population drop from 1997 to 2004. Polar bears are carnivores, which means they eat meat such as walruses, seals, or fish. They can also eat kelp or berries if food is scarce. Due to their need to hunt, the polar bear has acquired many adaptations. It is larger than all the other bears, with bigger and better eyesight. It has an amazing sense of smell. It can smell a dead whale from 20 miles away or a seal hiding 6 feet below the ice. Its claws and teeth are longer and sharper, so it can pierce the thick skin of a walrus. The polar bear has a lot of fat for insulation, which helps it give off no heat and stay warm. It has the thickest coat of all the bears because of its need to survive in freezing temperatures. It is white, so it blends in with the ice and snow. It has learned to cover its black nose with its paw, so it cannot be seen while hunting. Polar bears have quickly learned to adapt to their changing environment. When walking on thin ice, they have learned to spread out their weight so they don't break through.
Polar bears go through what is called walking hibernation. This is when they lower their body temperature and decrease their heart and breathing rate. At any time, they can do this, such as when food is scarce. No other bears can do this. Pregnant females will go through real hibernation. They will den for 2 to 4 months at the end of the winter. During this time, they give birth and nurse the cubs, but they can awaken easily if they need to. The polar bear has different sleeping positions depending on the temperature. If it is cold, the polar bear will dig a hole, curl up, and cover its nose with its paw. If it's warm, they will pant and lay sprawled out. It spends 87% of its time conserving energy. The polar bear's fur is very unique. When it is warm, the bear's fur helps retain its regular body temperature. In cold weather, the fur does not provide insulation but helps with buoyancy when it's in the water. The bear is primarily kept warm by its fat. The polar bear also has an extra eyelid which provides protection when swimming underwater. It has good night vision and ear canals that can close when it's swimming. Its adaptations are due mostly to its carnivorous diet. It has larger paws due to the need to walk on thin ice and to swim, and it has learned to spread its weight so it doesn't break thin ice. This is an adaptation that was caused due to global warming.
Polar bears also have long, stiff hairs between the pads of their feet. This protects their feet from the cold and helps them walk on ice. It also helps the bear swim in cold, icy water. They help the bear from slipping on the slippery ice, and the hair usually shakes free any water or ice formed after swimming. The hollow fur on the bear's coat traps the air inside, therefore making the bear float in the water. A layer of air provides insulation between their warm bodies and the cold air and water.
Polar bears are mainly solitary animals. The only time they will live near each other is when there is a large food source. During this time, groups of 4 to 40 bears may gather around. Polar bears will also live with their mother when they are babies. The mothers avoid other males because they will eat the cubs. Therefore, polar bears and humans are its enemies. They will fight but prefer to run away if possible. If they need to, polar bears will communicate with each other by hissing, growling, roaring, biting, or clawing. Polar bears in a zoo lead very different lives than animals that live in the wild. There were 2 polar bears living at the Philadelphia Zoo, and normally they would not live so close to each other. The polar bears living in the zoo adapted well to the warmer weather, which is why their habitat is not air-conditioned. No evolutions will form in the zoo because they take thousands or millions of years to happen. Because the polar bears don't need to fight off other polar bears, hunt for food, or take care of their young, the polar bears spend their time looking for hidden treats in their enclosure. They will also swim, play with balls or barrels, or relax in the sun.